Handsome Dang Pham here, this guy really hit the AI jackpot. Just transmigrated. And he's living the dream already. Seriously. Every single day. He's getting pampered with the finest, rarest feasts. Monsters guard him around the clock, watching his back constantly, even before bed. He's got beauties giving him a full-body massage. See, he's an incredibly powerful demon king. High stakes. High status. Sure. He faces constant threats from heavy-hitting enemies. No sweat. But there is one major headache: his own disciples want him dead. And watch this, the stakes are actually insane. Because if they manage to kill him, these demon disciples evolve, their power jumps up, leveling them into something godlike. Basically, let's see how Dang Pham manages to survive this treacherous setup. He's got his own endgame, and he needs to stay alive for it. Flashback 1 month. Dang Pham was a total weakling, just a guy dying in the modern world. Then the end came. He recorded a video, leaving his final will and testament behind, just giving away all the horror novels he ever wrote. He finished the handover, breathed his last, and passed away. But his consciousness didn't just vanish. Something weird happened. He opens his eyes, and a gorgeous woman is nursing him. She catches him waking up and bolts, terrified, like he's a ghost. Turns out he transmigrated, and get this, she's someone he knows. Standing right there is Pham Nuong, a character from his book, the very same girl he personally dreamed up and wrote into existence. She rushes back and smashes her chest right into Dang Pham. That's when he realizes his new body belongs to the Demon King. This guy had been framed and unconscious for half a year. But hey, he's struggling to breathe with her squeezing him like that. Thankfully, Nuong realizes she's overstepping and pulls back fast. She apologizes for being so clumsy. He is the master. After all, she gently helps her master up, trying to jog his memory. They're in an inn, and the guy over there is Min. Nuong calls out to this heavy drinker, trying to grab attention. Dang Pham doesn't even need an intro to know who this is. He takes one look at that cup and knows it's not wine, that's blood. And honestly, Dang Pham is low-key impressed. The vampire he wrote is turning out to be way cooler than expected. A moment later, Min walks over, acting all icy and detached. He bows to his master. But there's a real weird vibe there, besides that aloof attitude. It feels like he's looking down on him. Nuong clearly hates it. She drags her master away. She tells him to ignore that stuck-up guy. He's always like this. They head off to meet the others. But then he stops dead. He can't believe what he's seeing right in front of him. It is exactly who he thinks it is. There's Tam the snow dwarf and Hu the giant. These monsters from the drawing are stepping right out, all in 3D. He never imagined they would look this wild in real life. Just look at them honestly. The quality is insane. And over there? That's Mew, the cunning one. Beside him is Liang Cheng, the Jiangxi. These are all characters he and his colleagues created. And they are kings among their own kind. They've all gathered for a small banquet to celebrate their master finally returning to them. They want his help to rise up and reclaim their power. Sitting there in the middle of these heavy hitters, Dang Pham is still in shock. Everything is happening way too fast for him. But you know what? If the universe hands you a golden chance, you take it. Right on cue. The Demon Kings raise their glasses to toast his awakening. They're ready to follow him, a leader they can finally rely on. As the Demon Kings toast, Dang Pham realizes the spot he's in. He's their master, and they're expecting him to lead the way. Looks like he has to play this role all the way to the end. Dang Pham keeps a straight face and asks them about the time he was out. Was he really unconscious for half a year? He asks how they've been surviving here, making money. Maybe? The moment he says it, all the Demon Kings look completely stunned. Muba explains the truth to Dang Pham. When they first arrived in this world, even these powerful Demon Kings were forced to transform into ordinary humans. Every ounce of their incredible strength has completely vanished. Dang Pham can hardly believe it. These characters he drew were once terrifying overlords. Each one of them could unleash bloody chaos across the world. Yet here they are, stuck as normal people. It explains why they've been living in this cramped place for so long. But honestly, it's for the best. If these monsters still had their power, they'd destroy this world in seconds. Dang Pham still doesn't get why they're calling him their master. He's just a comic artist, not some hero or powerful demon king. He doesn't have the guts to try and control these monsters for long, not with everything at stake. He needs to know the truth. So, Dang Pham turns to Feng Xiniang to ask about the demon ring. Dang Pham has no clue why they call him master. He is just a manga artist, not a hero. And definitely not some kind of demon king. He honestly lacks the guts to control these powerful demons. Dang Pham keeps wondering what they actually think of him. How could he possibly know what's going on in their heads? He places the demon ring back into its box for now. Whether it is Fong Tu Nuong or the blind back, they are all Dang Pham own creations. They are his companions. But you are just standing by the sidelines, helping out. Sir. But look at Dang Pham's son. From start to finish, that kid was crafted entirely by your own hands. If Manhwa was here right now, Dang Pham would feel a lot more at peace. I honestly wonder, did Dang Pham take art classes back in the day to create a spiritual son that looks just like a little steamed bun? Just then, Fong Tu Nuong brings Manhwa over to Dang Pham. Manhwa is tucked away inside a wooden box. Since Manhwa has no physical body and does not need to eat or drink, it decided to seal itself inside this stone. Dang Pham walks to his room, lies down, and starts chatting with the sealed Manhwa. Dang Pham sounds frustrated, questioning why it just up and left before. Even now, with Dang Pham awake, it will not even show its face. Manhwa might be sealed, but it clearly hears every word he says. Yet it just stays silent, not giving Dang Pham an ounce of respect. Then again, this is not exactly an unexpected turn of events. Once the Demon King power vanished, why would they bow to a weak human like him? Even Tu Nuong and Tiet Tam are probably just pretending to play nice. Who knows what they are really thinking behind his back? Dang Pham sighs and puts the stone back into the box. Suddenly, Fan Luke's voice drifts in from outside. Apparently, Amin got hurt while making some wine. Fan Luke urges Amin to be careful. Since none of them have any power left, they really should treat the injury before it gets serious. But Amin is too proud. He is a vampire. After all, even without his powers, his recovery speed is far beyond any of them. He claims his hand will be completely fine in 3 days. Tops. Fan Luke sees he is stubborn, so he just takes the wine to the front hall. Just then, Dang Pham walks up from behind and asks if Amin has a moment to talk. Outside, he hears Fan Luke talking to Amin. Poor Amin got hurt while trying to make some wine. Fan Luke warns him they have no powers right now. They need to treat that injury before it gets much worse. But Amin is too stubborn, acting all arrogant as usual. Being a vampire, he claims he heals way faster than others. He says it will take 3 days max for his hand. Fan Luke just sighs, giving up, and takes the wine away. Dang Pham steps out and asks if Amin has a moment. He has something important he really needs to discuss with him. He wonders if the Demon Kings secretly hate him for his story. After all, he was in a coma, and they had to wait. Amin doesn't say much, just dismisses the whole thing. He claims the blind man knows more about their situation. Wait. The blind man knows that much about their status? Amin stays outside, refusing to sit on the chair. He claims it's filthy. What a typical, arrogant, bossy guy. Dang, Pham starts firing off 10,000 questions. Like, where exactly are we even at right now? Have they managed to scout out anything new in half a year? Amin just replies that he doesn't know anything at all. He's only responsible for brewing wine, not digging for info. If Dang Pham wants answers, he should ask the blind man. That guy sits by the door every single day. Dang, Pham scratches his head. Are you kidding me? You guys end up in a brand new world? A completely different place from where you used to live? And you still haven't gathered any real intel here? Dang. Pham starts preaching his own life lessons now. Any gamer knows that scouting the map is critical, especially since Dang Pham and this whole crew are transmigrated here. But Amin just insists that none of it was necessary. Why? Because back then, Dang Pham was still in a coma. What kind of logic is that? It is absolutely speechless. So now they are just dumping all the blame on Dang Pham? Amin tells him there's no need to fear the Demon Kings. Amin knows exactly what's going through Dang Pham's mind right now. He admits the Demon Kings really do look down on him. They truly despise him. But they wouldn't just toss him away. Even when Dang Pham was out cold, they kept him safe. And now that he is finally awake, they won't abandon him either. Dang Pham finds the whole thing pretty hard to believe. They wouldn't hate him? Is this a sudden plot twist? This feels like some dramatic, high-stakes script, doesn't it? If it were Feng Xiniang or Xie, that might make sense. But Amin? An arrogant, cruel vampire talking like this? You have to wonder, did he grab the wrong script? Amin keeps explaining that Dang Pham's friends abandoned them. But Dang Pham didn't. And he kept their stories alive. That is why the Demon Kings won't ever hold a grudge. When Dang Pham was unconscious, they had to wait it out. Amin stops talking, leaving the rest for later. He tells Dang Pham that the blind man knows much more. He's far more aware of their surroundings than anyone else. The blind man reveals the Lady of Tuan Than cult is desperate. She has been struggling to conceive a child for so long. He even plans to show her a bit of magic tonight. Back at the inn, he tells Tu Nuong to go entertain guests. Outside, Luong Trin is busy testing if his strength is returning. Watch this, he takes a sharp object to his own hand. He licks the blood away, and his eyes start to shift. Amin leaves to go find the blind man and get some answers. Once he's gone, Dang Pham starts thinking about everything. It's strange the Demon Kings didn't abandon him at all. Turns out, these Demon Kings realize exactly what they are. They know their characters from a story Dang Pham created. And because of that, they still see Dang Pham as their master. Dang Pham sees this, and he's genuinely grateful they stayed. They didn't just toss him aside when things got complicated. Meanwhile, as Amin walks away, he feels something weird on his arm. He stops, bows his head, and takes a closer look at it. Shockingly, the injury on his hand is completely healed. Back at the inn, all the Demon Kings have picked up new jobs. Take Tai Tam, he's become a storyteller for the guests. He's up on stage right now, rambling away about some epic war. The customers are gathered below, actually listening to him closely. They seem totally hooked on every word Tai Tam is saying. These guests really love the tall tales he's spinning. Dang Pham finds the whole scene pretty hilarious. Tai Tam used to be a guy who loved nothing but bloodshed. Now, he's just a storyteller, charming the crowd. If his old readers could see him doing this now, who knows how they'd react to seeing him like this. They'd probably laugh right in his face, wouldn't they? And Fong Tu Nuong in the original story, she was from a different era. She ran a brothel in a world where cities were open and wild. Things aren't exactly glamorous for them anymore. But none of them are living in total poverty here. If they hadn't arrived in this world and lost all their power, man, they would have been absolute legends by now. Each one of them would have been ruling their own territory. Is this place really just a normal, boring world? The blind man speaks up, answering Dang Pham directly. He admits the local powers are unstable and broken, but he insists the world itself runs perfectly fine. Everyone he's met here over the last 6 months is just a regular person. Dang Pham glances over at a horse nearby. It's covered in flashy, ridiculous colors, looks like a warrior's mount. Dang Pham thinks it's weird to see such a beast in a normal world. Wait, if he's blind, how would he even know what that horse looks like? Night falls, and everyone gathers together in one room. Fong Tu Nuong makes sure every single person has arrived. Dang Pham doesn't waste time and jumps straight to the point. He's already questioned the blind man about what's going on, so he asks the group what kind of world are they really in. Dang Pham looks around, waiting to see if anyone has a better answer. Tu Nuong immediately answers that whatever the others decide, it does not really matter. The only thing that truly counts is the decision of Dang Pham. These Ghost Kings only want to know one thing. Where exactly does Dang Pham plan to take them next? When they first opened this inn, they all talked it over, but they still kept their final answer simple. They decided to wait until Dang Pham woke up to name the place. Whether it would be called Dong Phuc Inn or Long Mon Inn, it did not matter. Everything was left entirely up to Dang Pham. Dang Pham, of course, does not want to let them down. Sit around waiting for death or do something else, since he already came back from the dead. Why overthink it? The second name sounds great, so that is the choice. Tu Nuong starts to ask if he wants to think it over a bit more, but Dang Pham thinks that is completely unnecessary. Before this, his favorite thing was creating absolute terror and overwhelming power. That kind of dominance always made him feel genuinely excited. Sadly, back then, he could only understand that feeling through his own stories. But since he transmigrated into this world, aside from these Ghost Kings, he does not have a single worry left. Every single day in this world is a gain for him. So instead of just sitting there waiting for the end, why not find some other fun things to do? If he finishes playing and it is over, then so be it. He already spent the money, so there is nothing to regret. Listen, it is moments like this that really define our leader. The Ghost Kings are thrilled. This is exactly the kind of fearless spirit they need. Dang Pham orders Teet Tam to go to the magistrate office tonight. Gather intelligence, get there as fast as you possibly can. Speed is everything. Do not let anything hold you back. Hey Luke. You find a merchant caravan and blend right in. Observe them closely, see if that place is a good spot for us to settle. Then, the blind man speaks up. The magistrate's wife has always been desperate for children. He was calculating her fortune earlier this afternoon. He planned to show her a bit of real magic. He even tells Tu Nuong that tonight, she will be the one hosting guests. Luong Tin. You are up next. It looks like his power is finally starting to flow back. Meanwhile, Fong Tu Nuong is already putting her charm to work. That rich guy is completely falling for her tricks. He is showering her with praise, eyes wide with pure obsession. He has never seen someone as beautiful as her in his life. Fong Tu Nuong just keeps the act going, playing him perfectly. Today you need to go out and meet the clients for Luong Trin and Amin. Make sure you keep an eye on Tu Nuong so nothing goes wrong. No slip-ups allowed. After all, Tu Nuong is incredibly soft and seductive. She's the perfect prize to serve up for our master. So, this whole setup is just a trap using her beauty. They lure the guests in, then finish them off quietly. No surprise there, they are all demon kings. After all, you really can't expect them to run a legitimate business. Tu Nuong agrees to the blind man's plan without hesitation. She lets her veil drop. Ready to entertain guests tonight, she demands a high price. And Dang Pham thinks, exactly as I expected. But here is the real calculation. For the past 6 months, these demons have kept their cool. They followed the rules. But that is not their true nature. These demon kings were just waiting for Dang Pham to wake up. Waiting for his orders. Everything else was meaningless until he finally returned. Now that he's given the signal, they are absolutely thrilled. They can finally go on a killing spree. It's exactly the kind of chaos those demons crave. They are ready to hunt. As Tu Nuong heads to her room, she runs into Amin. She asks him, did you not eat your fill tonight? Did you mess up the preparation of the blood soup? Amin clenches his fist, muttering that something is wrong. It seems he realizes the demon's power within him is surging back. Meanwhile, Dang Pham is busy catching up with Amin. Pham Luke has already headed to the desert with the merchant caravan. Tuet Tam has filed her report with the county office too, and the blind man went to track down the sect leader's wife. He hasn't returned yet, and it's already getting late. Dang Pham asks Amin if there is anything he can do to help. Amin tells him the truth, he has already done a great service. In fact, Dang Pham has done something massive. It's likely because of him that Amin's strength is finally returning. Dang Pham provided a huge boost. Even if he doesn't realize it, he truly helped. Though he remains completely clueless, he's probably thinking, wait, does just not causing trouble count as helping? Amin continues, the auction is over. But there is a complication. The other side is bidding far too high. They look like a young master from a major clan. He's got followers with him, but they look more like hired muscle. Amin heard he's been causing all kinds of trouble in the city. It's getting messy, and you can tell things are about to hit a boiling point. Nobody came to harass him. Maybe his family clan is just too powerful, or maybe that bodyguard of his is simply on another level. He handled everything so cleanly. Dang, Pham wondered if he should just walk away. The guy was pushy, throwing his weight around the moment he named a price. He has money, status, and the backing of someone seriously dangerous. His entourage is elite. But right now, Fong Tu Nuong can't afford a single mistake. According to Amin, the followers are getting smarter, more cunning by the day. They know exactly what their target is worth. And Fong Tu Nuong already took his money. The reality? She might actually have to spend the night with him. But how could they let that happen? Not on their watch. If Dang Pham wants to help her, Amin is ready to back him up. With his power fully recovered, he can take them all out. Moments later, Luong Trin spots Dang Pham carrying a jar of wine toward her. Luong Trin asks right away, did Amin tell you to come here? But Dang Pham brushes it off, saying he came here on his own. He's just going to crash the party and bolt. He thinks it's no big deal. But Dang Pham really needs to think. Even Luong Trin sees him as nothing more than a walking headache. Luong Trin lets out a long sigh. Master, what are you even trying to do? Don't push your luck, or you're going to end up in an early grave. After all, the master's safety is the only thing that matters. Who knew this cold-blooded guy actually worries about Dang Pham? Dang Pham is struggling to figure out how these ghost kings think. That rich brat is busy flirting with Tu Nuong in the room. Little does he know, this time next year will be his anniversary. Tu Nuong is buying time, playing the brat like a fiddle. He is completely losing his mind over her beauty. Outside, Amin is testing to see if his power has fully returned. He takes a sharp object and pierces his own hand. Amin licks the blood. His eyes shift color. The strength is back. Fong Tu Nuong is using her charm to distract the guy, just a little bit. And this pampered brat is already falling apart. He is tripping over his own words. Completely mesmerized. He's never seen anyone as beautiful as her in his entire life. Fong Tu Nuong keeps the act going, and you have to see what comes next. Outside, he checks to see if his power has fully returned. He just stands there. Amin, picking up a sharp object, he stabs it straight through his own hand. Then he licks the blood. His eyes seem to shift color. And his strength is finally back. Everything is returning to him. Fong Tu Nuong is already at work. She is using her charms just a little bit. And this rich kid is already falling apart. He cannot handle her at all. He keeps praising her, swearing he has never seen beauty like this. Fong Tu Nuong keeps playing her game. Right at that moment, there is still so much to see behind that pretty face. The details inside? You probably already know what is coming. Outside, Luong Trin and Dang Pham head straight for the room. When they reach Tu Nuong, a guard blocks the door. He stops them, asking exactly what business they have here. Luong Trin doesn't miss a beat. He explains that he was sent by the manager to deliver some drinks. It is the famous Hu Dao Thon wine. Still, the guard remains suspicious, keeping his guard up. Refusing to drink, Luong Trin pushes back. Look, you have it all wrong. Our manager personally ordered us to bring this to you. The guard eyes Dang Pham, who is holding the wine. He sees a weak, skinny guy who looks like a twig, completely useless. He waves them through. But he has no idea that he just made a fatal, irreversible mistake. Inside, the young master is wide-eyed, mesmerized by Tu Nuong. He is already burning up, desperate to get her clothes off, getting straight to the adult fun. Tu Nuong slowly peels off her stockings and whispers, "Master, do not be so impatient." She drapes the stockings around his neck. Tu Nuong and Dang Pham share a look. They know exactly what to do. One smashes the wine bottle over his head. The other uses the stockings to choke the life out of him. Amin finishes it, driving Tu Nuong's hairpin into the creep. Just like that, the pervert is sent off to the afterlife. Outside, the guard is fighting Luong Trin, struggling hard. The guard ignores Luong Trin, lunging to finish off Dang Pham, thinking he is the weakest link. But Luong Trin moves in a flash, shielding Dang Pham from the strike. He even drives his blade into the guard's shoulder. The guard realizes Luong Trin is a death warrior. He flares, his energy full power. Dang Pham looks at him. Looks like we really caught a big fish this time. But this big fish seems like it might actually eat people. The guard senses danger and kicks the bedroom door open. He can barely see, his eyes stinging from the struggle. He forces them open. But a flash of purple light slams into him. It is Amin moving fast. The guard reacts instantly, channeling energy into his blade to strike Amin, sending him flying into the wall. He thinks Amin is just a regular guy. He presses the blade harder, demanding to know who they really are. Amin just breaks into a wild, insane laugh. It actually freaks Dang Pham out. Then, in the dark, Amin's teeth grow long and sharp, like a demon. Amin finally taps into it, the true, dark power of the vampire. He sinks his fangs deep into the guard's shoulder. Just like that, the guy doesn't stand a chance. Blood loss hits him. He drops hard, dead. Amin feels a rush of pure euphoria. This is the feeling, the familiar, intoxicating hunger he's been dying to reclaim every single day. And then it happens. Devilish wings erupt right from his back. Amin has fully transformed. A true vampire has finally returned to form. Next morning, the crew acts like absolutely nothing happened the night before. The blind man sits eating with Dang Pham, ready to spill the tea. He's warning him this world is way wilder than he ever imagined. The blind man leans in, telling Dang Pham not to blame him. Don't mind him being chatty. He's just starting with the small details. Right where we're standing? This place is called Tigerhead City. It sits deep inside a massive territory under the Northern Wind District. Think of it like a province within the Kingdom of Yan. Beside Northern Wind, the kingdom manages 6 other major districts too. The capital city? That's tucked away in the Heavenly City district. But Northern Wind is the front line, the northern gate of Yan, 100 years back. This was the central battlefield for everyone. The wild desert barbarian tribes clashed against the kingdom of Yan here. The tribes eventually went rogue, making them impossible to rule properly. But there's a bigger issue: the kingdom of Yan is southern focused. Meanwhile, 3 other powers, Gan, Su, and Tan, act like starving wolves. They keep the pressure on, forcing Yan to guard its central lands. Forget the tiny neighboring states, the map is basically Yan, Tan, Su, and Gan. Each of them holds a massive territory, ruling over their own domain. Dang Pham realizes this blind guy is a total goldmine of information. Looks like the task Dang Pham gave him wasn't just a waste. He's actually taking the job seriously and digging up real secrets. Plus, through these stories, Dang Pham gets the lowdown on the power system. Mages, sorcerers, battle energy users, and martial artists roam these lands. They use a 9-rank system to mark how strong a person is. 9th rank is the absolute bottom, while the 1st rank, pure dominance. That guard he dropped yesterday couldn't even reach the 9th rank threshold, which means real monsters, true powerhouses, are hiding in the shadows. Dang, Pham thinks on it, feeling a thrill race through his chest. Back when he was just an artist, he wrote scenes like this constantly. Now that he's actually living it, it feels surprisingly fun. The blind man doesn't stop there. He's already mapped out a plan, a roadmap for Dang Pham and the group to get strong fast. Dang Pham wrote this story back when he was an artist. He has gone over these plot points so many times now, but honestly, experiencing it all again feels pretty exciting. The blind man has even laid out a real plan, a roadmap for Dang Pham and his group to grow stronger. Dang Pham finds this blind guy's flattery a bit too stiff. The blind man thinks it's just because Dang Pham doesn't trust him yet, even though Dang Pham insists he's fully on board. The guy won't have it. He's convinced Dang Pham still has his doubts. But wait, the blind man suddenly senses some of his power returning. He manages to telekinetically slide a cabbage across the table right into his bowl. Maybe Dang Pham actually does trust him, and that's letting his strength flow back. The blind man thanks him for the newfound faith. Later that afternoon, Dang Pham spots Xiao Tanzi working on some formation. Xiao Tanzi looks like a little kid who just saw his mom coming home. He says he's just following orders from the blind man. They've already made decent progress, but now they need a solid foothold in Tigerhead City. Setting up this formation is just to make things easier down the road. Dang Pham hands him a hammer and gives him a solid pat on the shoulder. He walks off to check on things elsewhere, but the second Dang Pham touches him and offers that encouragement, Xiao Tanzi starts coughing. He drops like a rock, but a second later, he's doing a one-fingered handstand. Looks like his power is surging back too. Dang Pham is oblivious to all this, lost in his own thoughts. Everyone to Niang, Liang Cheng, the blind man. They've all been acting so weird lately. Only Xiao Shui-san seems like her usual self. But hey, maybe Dang Pham is starting to figure out how to deal with them. As he approaches Tu Niang's room, Shui-san's laughter catches him off guard. He trips over his own feet and falls right into Tu Niang. And talk about bad luck, he lands in the most awkward spot possible. Dang Pham knows how to pick the worst timing ever. He turns bright red, scrambles up, and starts stammering. "Did you know you were in here too?" he asks. Tu Niang is just as embarrassed, explaining she came to bring clothes for her master. She definitely didn't expect to walk into that mess. Now, as she helps him change into the new outfit, she brings up what happened half a year ago. Everything seems normal on the surface, but Dang Pham already seems to know exactly how to handle them. Just as Dang Pham is about to step into Tu Nuang's room, the sound of Tu Yet Tam laughing catches his attention. He gets distracted, trips up, and falls right into Tu Nuang. Of all the places to land, he manages to hit the mark, right on the softest part of her body. Dang Pham really knows how to pick the worst timing. He turns bright red, scrambles up, and starts stuttering, asking in a panic, "Oh, you are here too?" Tu Nuang? She acts all shy, explaining she just came to bring him clothes. She never expected to walk into a scene like that. She finishes helping Dang Pham change into his new outfit. Then she fills him in on what happened half a year ago. She spent her free time sewing clothes for the master. But back then, Dang Pham just wouldn't wake up. Only now does he get the chance to wear them, and it fits quite well. Dang Pham is immediately moved by her words. Growing up without a father or mother, It has been a long time since anyone sewed for him. Tu Nuong notices and grabs Dang Fam's hand. Pressing close to him, she speaks sweetly as long as the master likes it. I can play the role of your mother. Dang Pham seems completely enchanted by her. Tu Nuong continues, whatever you want to do with your mother. I can play along. Acting is my specialty. After all, Dang Pham suddenly jumps in shock, compared to those other demon kings. I am still way too innocent. Just then, the blind man pushes the door open to call for Dang Pham. Tu Nuong instantly hurls a teacup at the door. How dare he ruin the perfect mood she just built? She is so furious, she starts chewing on her own handkerchief. But the blind man insists that something major is happening. Trouble has broken out right outside the inn gate. Enough with the flirting, the military is here. It turns out the Imperial soldiers have arrived to hunt down Dang Pham. Dang Luke, Dang Trin, and Dang Min are all being drafted for the upcoming campaign. The court is scrambling to transport supplies for thousands of troops. Why did they all change their names to Dang? Do they think Dang Pham is their father or something? This officer, Tt Ui, thinks they are just commoners. He is ready to throw his weight around and show off. He barks orders, demanding they disperse, claiming his blade is unforgiving. Now watch this. Tu Nuong shifts into her delicate damsel act. She pleads that Dang Luke already left with a merchant caravan. As for Dang Min, he is currently sick. What if he spreads tuberculosis to the entire military camp? Tit Hiu Ui still has no idea who he is dealing with. He demands that Dang Trin and Dang Pham report for duty immediately. After barking his orders, he turns and leaves in a hurry. He gives them until noon tomorrow to show up at the city camp. Dang Pham thinks to himself this time, things are about to get real. The noblewoman says that Lieutenant Tiet A. Luke left with a merchant group. And A. Min? He is currently struggling with a bad illness. She worries about the disease spreading through the entire military camp. What on earth are they supposed to do about that? That lieutenant really has no sense of his own limits. He orders Luong Trin and Dang Pham to head out for battle. After giving the order, he leaves the place in a hurry. He demands they report to the camp outside the city by tomorrow. Dang Pham thinks this might be a chance for less trouble. Things are getting a bit messy. Fighting the Imperial army right now just isn't the move. The blind man immediately turns to Dang Pham and lays out two paths for them. Option 1, pack up everything and clear out of Tigerhead Hill tonight. Before he even finishes, Dang Pham shoots the idea down. If Tiet Hioi wants to leave, let her go. He's staying put. Seeing Dang Pham stand his ground, all the demon lords realize they picked the right leader. Their master isn't the type to run away when things get tough. Dang Pham lays it out straight. This inn and their current setup have been their base for half a year. Tigerhead Hill is the very first piece of his master plan. Walking away now means losing everything they built. They'd have to start from scratch. That just doesn't make any sense to him. Besides, launching a rebellion like this right now, it's not practical. His demon lords haven't fully recovered their strength yet, and they have no idea how strong the Imperial forces or their enemies actually are. Starting a fight now is just asking for a death sentence. Instead, he'll agree to their demands for now while working his own plan in the shadows. The blind man praises him a leader who can look at the long game. He suggests Tiet Tam goes along with Dang Pham to help watch his back. Even one extra set of hands in a fight is better than nothing. Right? Fong Tu Nuong jumps in, eager to join the mission too, at least with me around. I can serve you properly, she insists, but the blind man shuts that down fast. Does she want to end up as a camp follower? With her looks, she'd just cause trouble and distract the soldiers. They are his subordinates. After all, clearing obstacles for Dang Pham is their whole purpose. Dang Pham hears this and feels a sense of relief. It wasn't a waste of time creating them. But the blind man knows his master well. Dang Pham doesn't want them acting like they're just feeding him scraps. Pay attention here. The dynamic between them is shifting. Their master has to sit higher than the rest of them. The next day, Dang Pham and Luong Trin head off to report for duty. The orders come in immediately. They're moving out to march. Everything feels so rushed. He wonders if there's some hidden agenda behind this. This is the very first time Dang Pham is heading into battle since being reborn in this world. After all, these people are his own creations, his loyal followers, sweeping away obstacles for Dang Pham. That is their literal purpose. Hearing that, Dang Pham actually feels pretty satisfied. All that time he spent writing the story was worth it. But the blind man knows better than anyone. Given Dang Pham's pride, he won't want to just be a passenger. He does not want them to see him as someone freeloading. Master Dang Pham needs to hold a higher position than them. Next day, Dang Pham and Luong Trin arrive to report in. The moment they show up, they are already being pushed to march. Is it just me? Or does this rush feel like a trap? This is Dang Pham's first real battle since his reincarnation. Everything here is so different from his previous life. Luong Trin keeps a sharp eye on everything happening around them. He notices something off and whispers his concerns to Dang Pham. They were told their only job was to transport the grain supplies. By all logic, the main army should be ahead of them, protecting the grain. Yet Luong Trin doesn't see a single trace. No signs of a main army anywhere on this path. What is the real objective of this sudden campaign? Are they fighting a fast war or a long siege? Neither Dang Pham nor Luong Trin received any clear orders. They are both completely in the dark about the real plan. Dang Pham just reported for duty and got tossed into the field. The whole situation feels wrong from top to bottom. Dang Pham realizes the ugly truth hiding in plain sight. They are just pawns being used for a bigger game. Cannon fodder meant to take the hit for the Imperial generals. Little Tam too returns quickly to report back to Dang Pham. He discovered something that makes the situation even worse. He took one of the grain carts for a quick spin, just checking the cargo while nobody was paying attention. And the result? It is absolutely chilling. There is no grain in those carts. Just rocks. Pure stone. Luong Trin warns Dang Pham to stay on high alert. Something huge and dangerous is going to happen tonight. Dang Pham already has a bad feeling about the night ahead, but he still presses Luong Trin for any concrete intel. Did you find any real leads on what is going on? Luong Trin lays out exactly what he has pieced together. Look at this location, both of them see the trap now. They have water nearby so the enemy cannot cut them off. But this narrow canyon is a perfect defensive bottleneck. It limits their movement and forces them into a tiny space. This is no safe haven. It is a killing field. Honestly, reincarnation hasn't made life easier. Just deadlier. Luong Trin digs deeper into the military deployment. Our side only has a few hundred cavalry at the front. That is the main force, supposedly leading the charge. The rest are just peasants tasked with a surprise attack. These farmers do not even have proper weapons. They will get trampled by the enemy in seconds. The whole camp is going to collapse from the inside out. Luong Trin has a truly impressive eye for detail. He has been tracking the movements of the cavalry for days. They are not moving like soldiers on a march. They are acting like guards, keeping a close watch on us. We are nothing but bait for the enemy to chew on. Acting as bait for this pack is quick, and you'll see the power of the demons Dang Pham has created. The real problem right now isn't the bait. It's what Dang Pham chooses to do. Should he hunt down the commander to report this? Or warn the farmers so they can fight back? None of it matters. Those tactics are completely meaningless. The commander already sees Dang Pham's group as nothing more than expendable bait. Trying to warn him will only spark more conflict. For now, they have to play it safe and protect themselves, with Leung Ching and Teo Tam Tu guarding the front. They don't have to fear anyone. When night falls, the barbarians launch a surprise raid on the camp. They wipe out the weak, useless sentries in the blink of an eye. Clean and brutal one slash to the throat is all it takes to send them to their graves. One barbarian gets unlucky and tries to slip into the tent to kill, but he's already walking into a trap. Leung Chen has been waiting. He catches the man by the throat and ends him right there. Teo Tam Tu isn't holding back either. He cuts down two enemies with his dual blades. Quick and effortless. Just like the blind man predicted, it really is the barbarian tribe. These savages fire a signal arrow into the night sky, marking the start of their full-scale assault. The barbarians charge in, wild and hungry to leave no one in the camp alive. But honestly, that threat would be better directed at themselves. In just a few moments, they won't even be around to see the sunrise. These barbarians have been the long-time rivals of the Yen kingdom. They've been locked in a bloody struggle for over 100 years, neither side willing to back down. From a hidden corner, Dang Pham, Leung Chin, and Teo Tam Tu watch the barbarians crawl into position. Dang Pham is sure of his hunch. Now they were only ever treated as bait. But now that the fish has taken the hook, it is time to haul up the net. Teo Tam Tu glance at Dang Pham. This place is getting dangerous should they slip away while it is still chaotic. But Dang Pham? He is not the type to run. Since he has been reborn, he is playing this game until the very end. He looks at Teo Tam Tu with a sharp grin. Those barbarian heads are worth a fortune in military merit. Right? And just hearing that, Teo Tam Tu is already fired up. The Man tribe has been a rival to Yan for ages. Both sides have been tearing each other apart for over a century. A brutal, endless cycle of war that never lets up. Dang Pham, Luong Trin, and Teo Tam Two sit in the corner, watching the man tribe soldiers from the shadows. Dang Pham is absolutely certain now his hunch was dead on. They really are just using his group as bait. Well, the fish finally bit. Time to drop the net. Little Tam too turns to Dang Pham, eyes wide. This place is getting way too dangerous. We should use this chaos and slip out now. Dang Pham? He's not going anywhere. He's been reborn. Time to play this game to the end. He tells little Tam too, those man heads are worth a fortune. Think about it. Real money. Military merit. It's all there. Little Tam too perks up immediately, grinning at the thought. Tu thinks the Demon Kings surely have an eye for talent. No mistake here, their master is something else entirely. Though his ambition? Dark. Even for a master like him. A barbarian scout spots the three of them. Dang Pham, Long Trin, and Tio Tam too. Tio Tam. Tu Gris. Clearly enjoying the chaos, the brute charges with a heavy hammer, aiming straight for Dang Pham. But Tu Tam too lunges forward in a heartbeat, with dual blades drawn. He doesn't wait for the scout to even blink. Before the guy can react, his artery is already slashed. Another rider charges in. But Luong Trin erupts with raw power. He slams the horse down, crushing force stopping it dead. Luong Trin pins the rider, holding him firm for the kill. Now it is Dang Pham's turn to finish the job. Dang Pham lifts his blade. Not even a second of hesitation. With one clean swing, he lops the man's head off. Blood sprays everywhere, splattering all over Dang Pham's face. But get this, Dang Pham actually finds the metallic scent of blood kind of sweet. He realizes he just took a life. Yet here he is. That sensation from just a moment ago? Honestly, it does not feel bad at all. Tio Tam too hands a flask of wine to Dang Pham. Take a drink. He says, the first kill always feels a bit strange, but once you get used to it, you will find the thrill in it. He truly lives up to the character Dang Pham built, brutal and cold. A killer who does not even blink when blood hits his hands. Dang Pham takes the wine and pours it over the head of a wolf. A wolf will never let a sheep act as its leader. If Dang Pham does not grow stronger, why would these demon kings ever submit to him? If he cannot change their hierarchy, he will make them feel the reality of the hunt. Meat is their food, and he will make them more ruthless than any wolf. With that, Dang Pham picks up his blade, ready to keep killing. By now, the cavalry sees the barbarians trapped in the ambush. They charge forward, launching an all-out assault. The general's plan is low, using commoners as bait. He sits back as the fisherman, waiting to reap the rewards. Even Tio Tam too, a man who lives for the blade, calls the general heartless. He really does have some twisted, ruthless methods. Luong Trin speaks up, wiping out 1,000 cavalrymen like this. Is it really going to be that easy? Honestly, he's devious, using those laborers as bait. He's playing the fisherman, waiting to reap the rewards. Even little Tam too, a man who lives for the blade, realizes this general is truly a cold, calculated predator. Luong Trin speaks up. They want to wipe out 1,000 cavalry. He's already seen what Luong Trin and little Tam too can do. It's tough, mostly because these guys are just too weak. Before they could even finish that thought, a sharp arrow streaks out. It's aimed straight for Dang Pham, Luong Trin, and Tio Tam too. Tu Tam too reacts in a flash. He shoves Dang Pham out of the way. If he hadn't, that head would have been a target for sure. That spear-tipped arrow was lethal. Looks like the leader is calling the shots for this whole attack. He's realized how dangerous this trio is, so he's changing tactics. He wants Dang Pham, Luong Trin, and Tio Tam too dead right now. Luong Trin sees what's happening and draws his blade in an instant. He charges forward, ready to take on the barbarian leader. With the raw power of a demon king, Luong Trin is on another level. Honestly, this entire battle is just for show. Just a little flair for Luong Trin. He swings his blade down, but the barbarian blocks it with ease. The clash of energy sends sparks of lightning flying everywhere. They arc all the way over to where Dang Pham is standing. Dang Pham tells Tio Tam too not to worry about him and help Luong Trin. He's confident he can dodge the rest on his own. Dang Pham thinks this barbarian is just another guy who loves to show off. He's tempted to just send the guy to meet his ancestors right now. That barbarian is really pushing his luck. The moment he sees Luong Trin's blade crack, he thinks he's won. He's positive he can finish Luong Trin off. He rushes in headfirst, classic brute. All muscle and no brain, absolutely not using a single thought to plan his attack. Luong Trin is about to show him exactly what true demonic power looks like. Luong Trin is a zombie at heart, so he doesn't even rely on that blade. The barbarian charges again. Armor spikes aimed straight for Luong Trin. He figures that small, frail frame won't stand a chance. He thinks the fight is already over. But the guy is about to get a massive reality check. A hand suddenly shoots out, punching clean through the barbarian's chest. Luong Trin finally lets his true power off the leash. That look in his eyes, pure demon. That's the signal a slaughter is about to begin. Everything changes in a heartbeat. Another arrow streaks out, slamming into Luong Trin's arm. The leader, Alicot, sees his opening and kicks Luong Trin away. Alicot's partner, a Tai Du, thinks he's spotted a weakness. He's convinced Luong Trin is struggling now. A Tai Du's archery skills are deadly enough to pierce anyone. Plus, Luong Trin's arm has zero armor to protect it. But here's the thing. Why did only the arrowhead manage to hit? Luong Trin reaches out right as Tai stays confused. Right then, Tu Tam Tu slides in quick as a shadow. He pulls out his twin blades. Moving in low, two deep slashes cut right across Tai's back. Alicot, the barbarian chief, sees this and lunges to grab Luong Trin. But dang Pham, he has been waiting for this exact opening. He strikes, his blade blurring as he lunges at Alicot. Alicot finally reacts, dropping Luong Trin to shift his defense. But as he tries to parry, he freezes his body locked up tight. Alicot is poisoned. It must have happened moments ago. When Luong Trin drove his hand through Alicot's chest, he was already coated in toxins. Luong Trin's hand was laced with venom the whole time. Dang Pham doesn't miss one clean strike, finishes the barbarian chief. With Alicot finally down, the fight starts to wind down. Dang Pham looks exhausted, so Luong Trin reaches out a hand. He pulls him up, but his mind is drifting elsewhere. He is thinking back to the blind man's words to the demon kings. The blind man knows how the others look at dang Pham. Still so dismissive, like he's nothing more than a pawn, but they are all forgetting a simple truth: they are his creations. If this world they crossed into is just a cage, think about it. Dang Pham was the one trapped inside it from the start. Now, the demon kings just need to do one thing: give him the room he needs to grow freely, without limits. Dang Pham is the true master who breathed life into them. As the blind man said, he is the creator they serve. Keep your eyes on this. Here is where the power dynamic shifts. He is destined to become the leader they deserve to follow, the one who can finally guide them all to something greater. The battle is over. The barbarians have lost. The Yen army has secured the entire field. Dang Pham tells Luong Trin and Teo Tam Tu to gather the spoils. Teo Tam Tu drags out Sa Takbo, the barbarian clan leader. He calls out to Dang Pham, saying they caught a big one. Teo Tam Tu asks if keeping this old man alive will earn them credit, but this clan leader has already seen too much. He saw what Luong Trin and Teo Tam Tu are truly capable of. Dang Pham realizes keeping Sa Takbo alive is just asking for trouble. He has seen secrets he shouldn't know. He has to go. No hesitation. Since arriving in this world, Dang Pham has learned how to kill. Dang Pham is already calculating his next move. Leaving that Sa Thak tribesman alive? That's just asking for trouble. The guy saw things he shouldn't have. He has to go. Ever since he transmigrated, Dang Pham has been a killing machine. But here, he sees a path to something else entirely. With newfound resolve, the tribal chief's eyes bulge wide. He stares at Dang Pham one final time. His mouth keeps spitting out these demonic, haunting cries. The barbarian chief's life ends right there, cut short by a single strike from Shao Sanzi, sending the old man straight to the afterlife. The general, finally done clearing out the tribes, spots the three of them: Dang Pham, Liang Cheng, and Shao Sanzi. Dang Pham is still holding the barbarian elder's severed head. Wasn't the central army looking all over for this guy? That old general thinks these three peasant boys just got insanely lucky, landing the biggest kill. But he isn't about to let it slide. He's planning to off them and steal the credit for himself. As the soldiers rush in to silence them for good, the general leads the charge, shouting out orders. Before his men can even react, he gets cut down. Seriously, these villains always kick the bucket early. The one who struck him is Zhenbei Marquis, Li Cheng. Li Cheng tells Dang Pham to wash up and come straight to her camp. Why the rush to clean up? That sounds suspicious. Surely not an adult scene? Meanwhile, Liang Cheng and Xiao Sansi are washing up. They're gossiping about their master. Dang Pham. Will anything actually happen with that general? Li Cheng? Xiao Sanzi is having a field day. Teasing that she's a girl disguised as a guy, classic novel trope. He's convinced she's the lead for Dang Pham's harem. Xiao Sanzi is already planning out the harem for him. This female general Li Cheng has high status. And she's a total looker. 2. If Dang Pham takes her in, it's great news for the Demon Kings. Besides, the losses those Demon Kings suffered were all thanks to Dang Pham's myriad ghost sovereign. Liang Cheng immediately shuts down that ridiculous idea. That woman just isn't worthy of Dang Pham. Xiao Sansi scoffs, asking if Liang Cheng is addicted to bootlicking. But Liang Cheng is confident. With the Demon Kings at his side, Dang Pham could marry the most incredible woman in the world. Liang Cheng turns to Xiao Sanzi and says, Xiao, if he plays this right, he could marry the most beautiful woman alive. Luong Trin turns to little Tam Tu and Dang Pham. He offers them a choice, 2 rewards on the table. Tam Tu didn't catch the look on Xiao Tam Tu's face, but Xiao Tam Tu understood exactly what Luong Trin was thinking. Luong Trin was asking about the Demon Kings, how much of their power had actually returned, and if there was any real progress. The heart of the matter still pointed back to one person, Dang Pham. 6 months ago, when Dang Pham first woke up, all the Demon Kings were totally powerless, living just like normal people. But look at them now. Not only have they recovered their strength, but even Dang Pham has left every other young fighter in the dust. Honestly, it feels like it's not just the Demon Kings getting stronger. Dang Pham is the main character the author had to give him a massive power-up. Right? Wait, Xiao Tam Tu suddenly remembered something. He'd only told Dang Pham the general was a woman. He hadn't given him any real, specific advice. Luong Trin asked what he meant, but Xiao Tam Tu just flashed this creepy, lecherous grin. Clearly thinking about all the wrong things. He meant telling Dang Pham that if the guards tell him to wait, he should just barge right in because they'd probably be bathing. That way, Dang Pham would get a nice little show while he was at it. Seriously. That little imp is obsessed with all the dirty details. Luong Chin, not interested in any of that nonsense, immediately countered that Lai Than would probably just have Dang Pham dragged out and executed. That made Xiao Tam Tu roll his eyes at how boring and unimaginative he is. Meanwhile, Dang Pham entered the camp to report to the general. Lai Than looked at him and said he'd done a great job recently. She told him he earned 2 rewards and he could pick one. First, he could join her personal army and become part of the Lai family. Or second, he could become a scout for the Tiger Head Fortress. She was totally sure he'd jump at the chance to join her inner circle. But Dang Pham did a complete 180 and picked the second option. Why would he sign his life away to be a servant for the Lai family? He's not stupid, that's just a fast track to getting himself killed. Dang Pham knows exactly how to play this. He made up an excuse, saying the Tiger Head Fortress felt like home. Dang Pham can join Li Than's camp and become part of the Li family. Or he can become the trade guard captain for Tiger Head City. Li Than is so sure Dang Pham will jump at the family connection. But Dang Pham? He completely flips the script. Why be a servant for the Li family and throw his life away? That's a one-way ticket to an early grave. No thanks. He's not stupid, he knows exactly when to walk away. Dang Pham makes an excuse, Tiger Head City feels like home. He doesn't trust the drink. Taking a tiny sip first just in case. A voice explains those 2 kids she's carrying. He just can't bear to leave. But he has to pick a path. Deep down, he thinks Li Than has completely lost his mind. Walking into the Li family home as a mere servant? He'll be dead before he knows what hit him. Besides, Dang Pham has 7 Demon Kings under his command now. Why on earth would he ever settle for anything less? Right now, those Demon Kings are helping Dang Pham secure Tiger Head City. Over with Amen. He's just finished a total massacre. Everywhere you look, there's nothing but piles of dead bodies, even with swords stuck all through him. Amin doesn't flinch. His next mission is simple: take down the 3 Gods Society. Amin notices Dang Pham isn't back yet. Did that blind guy go rogue? Did he really just decide to start the operation on his own? The blind man tells Amin that Dang Pham will be back soon. For now, they just need to clear out the obstacles in their way. Amin asks what they're supposed to do about the army outside the walls. That wasn't on their list of priorities. He points out, But the blind man already sent Tu Nuong to handle it. She's been gone for a while, so she's probably finished them off by now. Over there, Tu Nuong is wrapping things up. Looking entirely too relaxed, she sits there, sipping wine, wondering if Dong Pham is done with his fight. Meanwhile, Dong Pham, Leung Ching, and Teo Tam too are headed back. They're about a day away from making it back to Tiger Head City. Just as they're talking about an inn, Leung Chin and Teo Tam too freeze. They can sense someone else nearby, hidden in the shadows. All three of them instantly shift into a combat stance. From the darkness, a young woman steps out to meet them. She says the winds are picking up and they need to find shelter. She offers the trio a drink, playing the part of a gracious host, but Dong Pham's survival instincts are screaming at him to refuse. One sip of that, and they'd be poisoned dead in seconds. They've already realized she belongs to the barbarian tribe. This woman is Ai, the lead sorceress of their imperial court. She realizes he's wary, so she takes a drink from the flask herself. Ai explains she's traveling with two children. They're the nephew and niece of their leader, Sathak. They've been hunted every step of the way across this land. She's had to move like a blur just to keep them alive. Right then, it clicks. Dong Pham finally recognizes her tribe. They are the niece and nephew of the Sathak leader. She's been running for her life, desperate to save them. Dang Pham remembers the tribe. He can pick out the strongest ones. Some of them have great potential, perfect for special training. Luong Trin has one final task: get Dang Pham to the government office. Dang Pham remembers that the tribe can choose a few people. Sa was once obsessed with chasing down Li Thon, but now, running into this savage girl, it is a total nightmare, like running into your worst enemy. That mark on Dang Pham belongs to the Zhenbei Marquis. Sa thinks Dang Pham, Luong Chin, and Tu Tam Tu all serve the Lai family. In her eyes, they are traitors who deserve to die. Right then, Dang Pham tries to clear the air. He thinks this whole mess is just a big misunderstanding. But Sa does not care. She has already spiked the wine with poison. She uses a secret technique to control the two savages following her. With a dark curse, she turns them into mindless zombies. Their combat power? It just went through the roof. Dang Pham realizes these zombies look like Luong Trin's relatives. He jokes, telling Luong Trin to step up and say hello to his kin. Luong Trin takes him seriously and bares his razor-sharp fangs. He lets out a roar that shakes the very ground. The sound is so loud it breaks Sa's control over the zombies. She is stunned. How could he do that? Sa is supposed to be the top sorceress of the savage tribe. She refuses to believe it and opens her cursed eye to see. She needs to know exactly what Luong Trin is, because whatever he is, it is absolutely terrifying. The moment her curse eye lands on him, she freezes. Sa is in complete shock at the aura radiating from him. To her, he does not look like a normal fighter anymore. He is a zombie king, absolute ruthless power. Now, Luong Trin turns the tide and controls the two zombies himself. He orders them to attack Sa, who is still holding two children. Carrying the kids makes it impossible for her to dodge. She is fast falling into a losing position. Seeing she cannot win, Sa turns to bolt, but she makes a huge mistake. She runs straight toward Dang Pham. Dang Pham was just looking for a way to slip away unnoticed. He never expected her to fall right into his lap like this. Dang Pham swings his blade toward her in a flash. Without blinking, Sa uses the little girl as a human shield. Dang Pham cannot bring himself to cut down an innocent child. He shifts his strike, knocking the little girl safely to the ground. Sa spots her chance and grabs his blade with her bare hand. She presses the steel to his throat, ready to end him. But she is about to realize she made a massive mistake. The strength in Dang Pham's grip is already beyond her level. She pours all her power into it, but it is useless. She cannot even move his arm an inch. Seeing his opening, Luong Trin sends the zombies back in. Ai lunges upward, thinking a jump will get her clear. She even plans to dive back down and counterattack Dang Pham, but she never saw Xiao Sanzi lurking right behind her. In a flash, he drives a dagger straight into her back. Ai uses the momentum to kick Xiao Sanzi off. She makes her escape. Wounded and desperate, Dang Pham, Luong Trin, and Xiao Sanzi are completely gassed. They hit their limits and decide not to give chase. If Xiao Sanzi kept going, who would protect Dang Pham? They hold their ground and let her slip away. Xiao Sanzi starts buttering him up again, talking fast. He praises Dang Pham as a tactical genius, a visionary, trapping them from both sides, leaving absolutely no way out. It was a perfect squeeze. No room to breathe. Xiao Sanzi bows low. He is seriously impressed by this. Dang, Pham steadies himself. Though he looks a bit drained, he admits that he still couldn't stop her in time. He asks if Xiao Sanzi coated that blade in poison. Xiao Sanzi just grins, flashing a wicked, knowing look. Dang, Pham likes that devilish energy. It fits perfectly. Turns out, hanging around these demon kings is rubbing off. Dang, Pham is picking up all their bad habits lately. Meanwhile, Ai makes it to the merchant caravan's camp. She knows the blade was poisoned. But the mission comes first. She has orders from the royal court. And she must finish this. Meeting the merchants, she immediately starts barking orders. There are lackeys from the Zhenbei Marquis nearby. She commands them to wipe every last one of them out. The merchants know better than to argue and start moving. Fan Luke stays put, watching the chaos unfold silently. Ai has no clue who he is or what he's capable of. Fan Luke spots the poisoned dagger still embedded in her back. With one clean axe strike, he ends her and joins the others. Dang, Pham watches the scene wrap up, feeling a bit stunned. Is it fate? Or just pure dumb luck? Words fail him. Elsewhere, at the Beifeng magistrate's office, Hua Wenzu is grilling his servants about the current situation. He wonders if the Marquis and Lady Li Cheng can survive. They are facing a brutal calamity, and time is running out. The servant claims the Marquis had help from some mystery guests, but Hua Wenzu fixates on that man Lady Li Cheng recommended. He sneers, is that really the guy they are counting on? Hua Wenzu is arrogant, obsessed with his own high status. He dismisses Dang Pham as a nobody, a commoner at best. Giving him 300 cavalrymen was already way too generous, even with food and gear. Would he actually risk it? Would he really dare to stand up and take a side? The moment the Marquis raises the flag of rebellion? Meanwhile, Dang Pham, Xiao San, Fan Luke, and Luong Train make it back to the inn. But it is completely empty. Dang Pham has no clue what went down here until an old man steps out. He welcomes them, explaining that Fong Tu Nuong and Uncle Tian Xin built a new house a while back. They left him here to watch over the place, with orders to tell Dang Pham the moment he returned that they have made some money and moved into a much larger courtyard just down the street. Right now, Amen, Fong Tu Nuong, and the blind man are discussing monthly salaries for the officials across Hodao City. According to the ledgers, every single one has doubled. Since they are newcomers, they need to show more sincerity to prove their commitment. The Hyena Guild is helping these demon kings with their trades. But Amin warns them to be careful about how Dang Pham feels. If he has an issue, they stop immediately. But Amin does not get why the three great temples are raking in so much incense money. Yet they want to destroy them. The blind man figures Dang Pham is a creative soul with actual culture. He explains that back in the day, he knew Dang Pham never wanted to get tangled up with religion, so demon kings like them should stay clear. That sounds like a pretty convincing reason, though, in the end, it is really because of the blind man's painting, because it is tied to that whole mess and the eventual execution. For them, as long as they keep the business running, they will never have to worry about cash. Tu Nuong thinks since they are all transmigrators, making a fortune selling perfume and soap should be a total breeze, right? While they are busy chatting about all this, a servant girl calls out from outside. Dang Pham and the group have finally arrived. Tu Nuong is absolutely thrilled to hear it. Following the blind man's request, Tu Nuong sets up the most luxurious bathhouse for Dang Pham to wash away his exhaustion. Amin thinks this is going too far, afraid Dang Pham will get lost in these pleasures. The blind man and Xiao San just think, trying to seduce their master with this method is a massive failure. You have to understand that is one. That gorgeous female general, Li Cheng, not even she could move him, so when Tenmu figures the boss has been grinding outside, he thinks he should finally enjoy the fruits of all this team growth. They've got the resources now, so it's only right to give Dang Pham a chance to hit reset and pick his path. While they're still bickering over that, Dang Pham walks out. He's joining them for a meal. Xiao Sansi is hyped, gushing over how Dang Pham took down that AI. Dang Pham just sits there, quietly going over the books Tenmu handed him. Say, Tenmu had this secret plan to form a bandit troop outside Tiger Head City. But Dang Pham swooped in and swiped that official commission right out from under them. Turns out, that actually did Tenmu a massive favor. Dang Pham doesn't really know how to use this authorization anyway, so he's handing the whole operation over to Tenmu. How they develop, how they use that commission, it's all on him. Tiger Head City is just their first outpost. They need to keep expanding their reach. They can't afford to waste those 300 Tiger Head horsemen. They need to make them useful for Dang Pham. Tenmu thinks it's obvious their main priority is this unit. They'll be part of the Yan Kingdom on paper. Sure, but in reality, their true loyalty belongs to us specifically. To Dang Pham. Now, Tenmu starts laying out the mission for everyone. Xiaosanzi and Fan Li need to focus on merging the forces. Everyone is back in position, so that job goes to them. Feng Xiniang gets the task of training the new recruits. If she spots anyone with real talent, she should train them separately. As for Liang Cheng, he's on escort duty for Dang Pham at the government office. And hey, here's the plan for their downtime. Liang Cheng and Dang Pham can spar while they're out there. Maybe Dang Pham can pass on a few tips, show him some moves. Even a tiny bit of instruction from him would be a lifetime advantage. Dang Pham hears this and just shakes his head. He's honestly speechless. He's thinking, who is teaching who here? A guy as weak as him? How could he possibly show anyone else the ropes, with better bones than him? Training them separately. As for Luong Trin, he has a mission to escort Dang Pham all the way to the local office. During that time, Luong Trin and Dang Pham could practice techniques, just to get Dang Pham to show them a few moves. Even just a tiny bit of advice would last them a lifetime. Dang Pham hears this and is left speechless. He doesn't even know who is teaching who. How could a weak guy like him dare to instruct anyone? Everything is already laid out. That blind man basically read Dang Pham's mind and said it all first. Well, that's what happens when you deal with people who actually use their brains. They all think exactly alike. Dang Pham sighs. Spending all this time around them is starting to wear on him. They keep buttering him up. And honestly, his skin is getting thicker by the day. Then Amin notices something. Did the blind man just forget something important? Amin still hasn't been given a single mission. The blind man turns and tells Amin that his task is actually the most critical one, but he somehow managed to leave it out. Makes no sense. They need to feed 300 cavalry soldiers, and that costs a fortune. So, Amin's big mission is basically going out there to pick up soap. Wait, what kind of mission is that? It sounds way too suspicious. Dang. Pham kicks off his intense training session with Luong Trin. 3 days of absolute hell, 3 days of getting beaten to a pulp. Now, Dang Pham's physical strength is finally starting to show some real improvement. His body is hardening up, looking like someone who has been training martial arts for ages. Dang Pham jokingly asks Luong Trin to go take a bath together, but Luong Trin doesn't seem to share those tastes and shuts him down fast. Meanwhile, Tu Nuong and Amin are busy hashing out some work details. They're passing by, focused on launching their new soap and perfume lines to rake in cash. They plan to develop these products together to grow their business. Tu Nuong looks around and realizes Dang Pham is nowhere to be seen. Panicked, she rushes off to find him, dying to give him a massage. Amin takes a moment to discuss their power levels with Luong Trin. It's not just about our physical bodies, this isn't adding up. If we just rely on hard training, this whole path is going to lead nowhere. Our strength isn't coming back, and we have no idea when it might return. It's becoming clear that they need to start looking for an alternative way. Suddenly, the blind man appears out of thin air, like a ghost behind them. He drops the news: a meeting at the pavilion tonight, just for the demon lords. They are all searching for a way to get their true power back. That night, while Feng Tu Nuong is massaging Dang Pham, she makes a request. She asks him to see if he can get his hands on some real training methods. Dang Pham admits that this muscle-building routine isn't actually that bad. Late at night, the Demon Kings gather to discuss their declining power. They start by reviewing Dang Pham's training progress over the past few days. Luong Trin reports back Dang Pham had absolutely zero combat experience before this. He's struggling with the habits of a real fighter. This isn't too bad. But by nightfall, the Demon Kings meet. They are gathering to discuss the issue of their power. First on the agenda, Dang Pham's training progress over these past few days. Luong Trin reports that Dang Pham has absolutely zero combat experience. And his habits? It seems he has none at all. And his reflexes just weren't sharp enough. Not even a full month since Dang Pham woke up. Recovery was rough at first. But now, he's actually hitting the strength levels of a guy who trains in martial arts every single day. The blind man doesn't care much about that, though. He's only got one question burning in his mind just. What exactly is the connection between their powers and Dang Pham? They've recovered a little strength. But no matter what they try, they hit a wall. They just can't push it any higher. Then it clicks. The blind man realizes their energy recovery is tied directly to Dang Pham's own power levels. Think of it like an online game. The Demon Kings are still, basically toddlers. They can't possibly rank higher than Dang Pham. Since he's stuck at level 1, they're capped too. And if Dang Pham doesn't get stronger, he'll actually end up suppressing their power for good. Reaction finally chimes in, scratching his ear. Hey! Why not? Just kill the guy and break the limit that way? Obviously. Nobody is down for that. Dang Pham created them, back when they were just ordinary people. The Demon Kings swore to let him choose his own path. And they promised to protect him. You guys barely got a shred of power back, and you're already showing your greedy side? Clearly ashamed of where their thoughts were heading, he knows he's got no right to ask. But he hopes that after this glass, they can just dump those toxic thoughts for good. The Demon Kings drain their cups. It looks like everyone is on board. The blind man drops the hard truth: if Dang Pham dies, there's a good chance none of them are surviving either. So, at any cost, they have to boost their master's power, just to unlock their own potential. But their usual training methods clearly aren't working for him. Looks like finding Dang Pham a real teacher is essential. But the Demon Kings? They have no clue where to even start. No one has any input. Until the blind man speaks his mind. In reality, they all know the stakes are incredibly high. If Dang Pham dies, the Demon Kings might not survive either. So, at any cost, they must boost their master's abilities. Only then can they also level up their own strength. But their current methods, it seems they just do not fit. These training styles aren't working for Dang Pham at all. It's clear they need to find him a real mentor. That's become absolutely essential for their survival now. The Demon Kings still don't quite get the gravity of it. What's the blind man thinking? They told him to speak up earlier. He just smiles, staying silent. Everything will be clearer tomorrow morning. The next day, the Demon Kings wait on some random mountain peak. Tu Nuong asks the blind man if he is certain. Is he sure this teacher he mentioned will actually pass by here? They just met yesterday. And now they are out hunting already. Is this whole thing just the blind man pulling the strings? The blind man got word that a horse thief is headed to the capital. This person is being hauled there to face judgment soon. The issue is, this target is not just some government official. He is a martial artist who has reached a high rank. If he is a martial artist of that caliber, maybe he fits. They think he could actually serve as a teacher for Dang Pham. Amin feels uneasy. The man is disgraced and imprisoned. Could this be seen as an insult to their master, the Lord? Right now, the blind man is fired up, ready to brainwash them all. He claims they spent the entire night debating the right teacher. And today, a candidate who actually meets the criteria just dropped dead. Is this the will of the heavens? A twist of fate? It is a special favor the heavens have granted to Dang Pham. They cannot let their master down. They must respect this destiny. Following their lord is the greatest glory of their entire lives. You have to admit, the blind man is a hell of a salesman. Just then, Dang Pham rides up on his horse. He is here to see exactly what kind of teacher they have picked. Most people use connections to find a mentor. Not him. He prefers to just draw a blade and snatch them up. Xiao Sanzi seems ready to speak, but the blind man cuts him off. They still cannot let Dang Pham know they are suppressing the Demon Kings. If he finds out, he might start thinking about what Fan Luke said. Their relationship could end up in serious trouble if that happens. Once the blind man gets the green light from Dang Pham, he moves. He tells everyone to prep fast. This is a big operation, since there is so much at stake. Only 7 of them are going. Xiao Sanzi just got back from scouting the area. It looks like someone else is already watching the target from the shadows. But Dang Pham keeps thinking about what Fan Luke said last night. If he doesn't improve, their relationships could face serious danger. Once Dang Pham gives the word, the blind man tells everyone to hurry. There's so much work ahead that they need to prepare fast. Because of the risks involved, only 7 of them will participate. It's a tight, elite group, and they can't afford any mistakes. Little Tam 2 just returned from scouting out the area. It looks like there is still one group lurking nearby. They have their eyes locked right on them. This goal looks like things are getting a lot more complicated. They're still waiting to see what Dang Pham decides to do. And honestly, Dang Pham isn't planning on letting them down. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the Oriole behind. But being the Oriole in the back? That feels way better. By nightfall, the men from Bak Fong Lao launch their attack. They target the guards from Ho Dao Than, who are escorting Din Can. Din Can realizes these guys are in league with the Man tribe. There is no way they're planning to let him just walk away. He warns Wang Li, the patrol captain, to retreat immediately. But Wang Li refuses to listen. He decides to fight it out. Just when it looks like Wang Li is about to lose his life, a massive sound rings out, leaving everyone there completely dazed. It's the blind man, and he's playing his instrument. The Bak Fong Lao crew recognizes him and prepares to strike, but they're stopped cold by tiny, razor-sharp threads from Tu Nuong. In the blink of an eye, the blind man snatches Din Can away. After a brutal day, they finally manage to rescue him. But wait, now the blind man says this guy is basically dead. He claims the man's pulse and breath are already completely gone. The blind man actually starts talking about chopping Din Can up. He wants to ferment him into fertilizer just like the rest. Dang Pham feels totally out of place around this guy. Maybe he just isn't twisted enough for this group yet. But Din Can? Maybe his ancestors are watching over him. At those words, he suddenly bolts upright, very much alive. The blind man flips his attitude instantly, acting all sweet. He claims it was Dang Pham's good luck that saved him. Then he gets straight to the point with Dang Pham. Since he's the master, some basic respect is still required here. He suggests that if Dang Pham leaves this to him, they can start putting the real plan into motion tomorrow. Dang Pham trusts him, but reminds him to cut the crude talk. The blind man gets the message and turns to Din Can. He tells him if he teaches their master some martial arts, they will personally guarantee his safety from here on out. But Din Can isn't ready to teach him a single thing yet. Dang Pham thought if he handed this task over to the blind man, he could probably start getting things done as early as tomorrow. Dang Pham trusted the guy but still told him to watch his tone. The blind man understood and told Din Can in his rough way, "If you teach our master some real martial arts, we will make sure you stay safe out there." But even with that offer, Din Can still refused to train him. Stop thinking about torturing people all day long. Fong Tu Nuong snaps. This attitude? It's pushing her over the edge. She's ready to flip the switch and start a total slaughter. She's seen it all before. Every type of pathetic person. Heroes who act high and mighty until the torture begins. They crawl like dogs, begging for their lives. It's disgusting. She didn't expect to see such a twisted look on her face. But the blind man holds her back. Remember, this is the master's teacher. Dang Pham taught them to win people over with virtue. Virtue? As if he'd ever actually follow his own advice. You might think this blind man is some kind of noble gentleman, but Dang Pham already knows the truth. This guy is twisted. A saint? Far from it. Definitely not a man of honor. The blind man suddenly recalls something petty. A debt. Wang Li's wife, that patrol captain, owes him a single coin. He tells Fong Tu Nuong to go and wipe out Wang Li's whole family. Din Can has no choice. She agrees to his twisted demand. Wang Li's daughter-in-law is pregnant. Yet he's dead. He lost his life just trying to save Din Can. And now, Din Can has to drag his entire family into this mess. All over one miserable pet coin. It's absolutely insane. Once Din Can agrees, the blind man strolls into another room. He turns to Din Tien Sin with a cold, measured tone. You'll be living here from now on. So he isn't saying much. He doesn't need to give you a lecture on the rules. Just keep the Ghost Kings and Dang Pham satisfied with your teaching. Do that, and the rewards waiting for you will be massive. Imagine getting fully healed, back to your peak strength. Din Can is skeptical. Is this just another trap? He can't tell if they're playing him for a fool. The blind man just laughs, confident in their generosity. He promises Din Can that when Dang Pham reaches the next level, you'll get the answer you're looking for. That's when you can hunt down the Bak Fong Lu clan. Finally, you'll have your chance to settle the score. But get this, if you're tight with Dang Pham, he could just order all the Demon Kings to help you. Revenge? It would be served to you on a silver platter. Once they're outside, the blind man scolds Tu Nuong. You have to win people over with virtue, not just blades. Stop obsessing over torture all the time. It's just so crude. Tu Nuong is stunned this coming from him. He's acting like a saint. But they all know the truth. That is just plain rude. Tu Nuong looked totally shocked because until now she had never seen anyone dare to speak to him like that. Everyone knows that blind guy is crafty. But this is next level cruel. He'd actually gamble with the Wang family's lives just to threaten someone. It's sick he's using their very existence as leverage. Why would he think Wang Li would sacrifice his life for Ding Hao? Using someone's life to pressure Ding Hao? That's just twisted. Tu Niang lets out this strange, eerie laugh. She reminds the blind guy that he's threatening his own flesh and blood. But the blind guy doesn't even flinch. He claims that kid isn't his flesh and blood at all. He swears he never touched her, he just gave her some special water. Using his spiritual power, he adjusted her state of mind. And somehow, that led to her getting pregnant. Honestly, you can't even make this stuff up. It feels like this guy has reached the absolute peak of being a creep. Even though he keeps insisting he's pure and innocent, he blames the Demon Kings for being dirty and cruel. Maybe he's just shouting insults at a mirror. Anyway, let's shift gears. Ding Jing is busy explaining the ropes to these Demon Kings. Every clan has its own unique way of training. He says, for his path, you've got to build up chi in the empty valley. Once that energy gathers, it splits into 5 different paths. Those paths branch out toward the limbs and the head. Tu Niang is right there, marking the points on a Ming's body. Ding Jing asks if he could just draw a diagram instead. He doesn't get just how twisted these guys really are. The blind guy just says drawings lack that 3-dimensional feel. A living body is a much better reference model. Apparently, he tells Ding Jing to get back to the lesson. They need to focus their inner energy to boost blood circulation. Using the heart like an accelerator, that's the trick. In just 1 week, the body's functions could double in speed. It's all about making that energy shine bright. Ding Jing keeps going, explaining the signs of progress. If the body glows, it means you've hit the threshold of a martial master. You're talking about potential squad leader material in the army. Ding Jing spent 10 whole years reaching that rank. He calls it a divine speed, but honestly, it's just the beginning. The body moves twice as fast and starts to glow. Din Can keeps on teaching, and if the body shines, it shows. It means they finally hit that threshold. The next stage of martial power. This could mean becoming a young leader in the army. Din Can says. He spent 10 full years just to reach the official martial artist level. Truly godlike speed. Some would even call it a miracle, but there's a risk. Messing with the human body is dangerous. The blind man tells Amin to go ahead and test the words. Ding Jing says that, regardless, the path is already laid out. It is etched onto Amin, just follow the map. That is all. Even though Amin does not know what Qigong is, he can still control his blood. That is the secret, controlling the flow of blood within. If it flows fast enough for a period of time, it can generate wind. That means the qi, Ding Jing insists, is everything. He tries to warn them, you cannot just try it this way. You have to do it piece by piece. Little by little. First, build up your physical foundation. Your body. You need a strong, sturdy frame. Otherwise, even with luck, there are risks. Things could go wrong. There is even a chance of sudden swelling. It seems Ding Jing has yet to see the true power of the demons Deng Pham created. Before he can even finish his sentence, Amin is already channeling ki to his dantian. Amin has already reached the half step to the 9th rank. Everyone, Feng Si Niang, the blind man, Bai Xiaosan, Zi Liangcheng, and Fan Li, they can all channel qi on their very first try. Ding Jing is absolutely stunned, his jaw hitting the floor at this display. Right now, all the Demon Kings are stuck at that same half step to the 9th rank. So, the next stage, in truth, is not difficult for them, but they cannot break through. There is an invisible barrier holding them back. Because of that, what they must do next is simple. They must help Deng Pham at any cost. Without hesitation, the next afternoon, guided by Ding Jing and the Demon Lords, Deng Pham starts his training. Finally feeling the flow of qi, he has already heard a mountain of theories by now. Looking at all those threads on Amin, who is struggling to stand still, is it not hilarious to watch? Ding Jing stares at Deng Pham. It looks like their master is just a normal guy, not a freak like the others. The blind man sees Deng Pham is struggling to catch on. So he asks Ding Jing if there is a faster way to stimulate him from the outside. Ding Jing mentions using 5-stone powder to use its evil energy. It acts on the human body, throwing all the meridians into chaos. Right then, the blind man tells Liang Cheng to use his own energy. Use it to stimulate the qi channels in Deng Pham. Once Liang Cheng pumps that energy into him, Deng Pham feels it. At first, it is just a tingling, sour sensation. Then, it turns into pure pain, and his whole body starts to violently convulse. It scrambles all the energy channels inside. Total chaos. So the blind man tells Luong Trin to use his own energy. He has to use his vital force to stimulate Dang Pham's own flow. As Luong Trin pushes that energy into him, Dang Pham feels it. First it's just a stinging, sour tingle deep under the skin. Then comes the real pain. Pure, burning agony. His whole body goes wild, thrashing and convulsing out of control. Somehow, he just starts foaming at the mouth. Liang Cheng clearly had the poison under his control. It shouldn't have been able to enter Dang Pham's body. He explains to them that it might be because Dang Pham's blood and qi are extremely pure. It's like a pile of dry kindling. Liang Cheng's killing intent just set the whole thing off. So that makes Dang Pham a natural-born martial arts genius. The Demon Kings all feel lucky that Dang Pham isn't trash. Their own strength could return sooner than they thought. During the few days he was out cold, Dang Pham was watched over by the blind man. 3 days pass before he finally wakes up. He reports that he can feel his own energy now. It's surging, burning stronger than ever before. His master agrees, saying that feeling is exactly right. Most people just feel a thin thread of qi, but he can sense his own vitality growing robust. It's a massive breakthrough, truly something to celebrate. The blind man catches on and prepares to butter him up. Just as he's about to flatter Dang Pham, the others cut him off, stealing the moment. They congratulate their lord on his God-given talent. Seeing their sly, fawning faces makes the blind man furious. But honestly, they really know how to play the game. Dang Pham finds the noise unbearable and tells them to leave. He needs some actual peace and quiet to rest. Tonight, it's the little ghost's turn to stand guard. The blind man approaches and asks about his trip to see Din Hao. Why go there? He just wanted to know what helps power grow fast. He's obsessed with helping his master reach the next rank, even shooting from the 9th rank straight to the 7th. The blind man cuts him off, scolding the little ghost. You never think ahead, do you? What if it backfires? If Dang Pham hits a wall and can't progress, we'll all be stuck at the 7th rank for the rest of our lives. Don't go thinking you're smarter than you actually are. Everyone's starting to recover a little bit now. That's a sign of a bright future ahead of us. You can't just drink poison to quench your thirst. That's the quickest way to kill our future. The Demon Emperor hasn't fully awakened yet. We have no idea when he's going to break free. You need to be careful. The little ghost listens, finally understanding. Fan is buzzing with pure excitement right now. He knows one thing. If the Demon Emperor truly wakes up, the very first move, total slaughter. He's gunning for the master. The imp guesses that after the deed is done, he will spit out one cold line: you never deserved to be my father. What actually happened back then? Meanwhile, Dang Pham and Tu Nuong are having a soak. She offers him a grape, teasing that it is tiny but smells like milk. Wait. She is talking about the grape on her chest. Dang Pham is caught off guard, awkward as can be. He warns her to quit that talk. It is really inappropriate for the audience watching this. Seriously, keep it PG. The last training session put so much pressure on him, he is honestly wiped out. But when Tu Nuong offers to give him a massage, he sends her packing immediately. Bedtime is locked in. She leaves, quiet and disappointed. She walks away lost in thought, wondering if she should finally spill the hidden truth to the master. Left alone, Dang Pham tries to convince himself, just keep grinding. A little more suffering now if he can. Hit a higher level soon. Every bit of this struggle is worth it. He has to become a master so strong that those fools back there have no choice but to bow. Suddenly, the demon orb floats right out from his pocket. He watches it surface. Dang Pham cannot believe his eyes. This magical stone is light as a feather. If his son were here, things would be perfect. He leaves the orb to soak a bit longer. Dang Pham heads inside. But then the stone starts glowing. It radiates a massive surge of power, stirring the energy in the water. Everything starts swirling around it, picking up speed. It creates a literal vortex, spraying water everywhere. Somewhere else, the blind man is practicing his calligraphy. Suddenly, a bizarre energy shift makes him freeze. He is shocked, realizing the Demon Emperor is about to manifest. He trembles in fear, sensing an overwhelming, killing intent. Who is about to meet their end? The next morning, Dang Pham steps outside to see a funeral. A long line of coffins is passing by. He realizes these are local villagers forced to transport supplies, used as bait by the imperial soldiers. The death toll? It is looking like hundreds of people. Pure, unadulterated madness. Tu Nuong reports the massive losses to him. She figures Ho Dao City will open their gates soon to draft new soldiers. Dang Pham realizes it instantly. He should recruit the refugees to secure his position. Just then, Min steps up to report that the county magistrate sent word for our leader to arrive at the office by noon for an official assembly. Dang Pham has already received these orders and heads back to the group. Everyone rushes out, cheering for his recent appointment. With this new rank as an officer, he has to leverage his position to grow his influence and power in the days to come. Dang Pham explains that this gathering is about more than just duty. There is the issue of the war orphans, so many children left alone without parents after the fighting. Min guesses the higher-ups will assign Dang Pham maybe 1 or 2 kids. Since his rank is still quite low, that would be a reasonable arrangement for now. Suddenly, the blind man speaks up, calling that number way too low. Greedily, he suggests they take every single one of them. Turns out, he wants to raise these kids into an army, training them from scratch while gaining a reputation as a savior. Everyone around them looks on, impressed by his supposed kindness. He lights a cigarette for Dang Pham while he talks. Honestly, hanging around this guy is really starting to corrupt him. For now, they need to head back and prepare for what comes next. After a grueling day of training, the master tells Dang Pham to rest. But the kid refuses to stop, asking how much longer, until he can finally stand above the rest. The master hesitates, a bit wary of such intense saken, resolve burning in his student. He warns that haste makes waste slow down. At this rate, he says, within 3 days, you will reach the semi-9th rank. And in less than 2 months, you will officially be at the 9th rank. He smiles and sends Dang Pham off. But once the kid is gone, the master trembles, terrified. Those 6 monsters already hit the semi-9th rank in a blink, which means this leader must have absolutely terrifying talent. I am supposed to be the master teaching them martial arts. But honestly, it feels like they are the ones crushing my spirit. I have no idea which wealthy, powerful family sent these brats here to play at living the rugged life. That is all for this episode. Hit like and subscribe to keep the channel going, and help me bring you even more exciting stories in the future.